Well, load shedding is here to stay, and South Africans have no choice but to live with it, at least for the next 2 years. But the question is, what if you're fed up of the darkness and want to keep the lights on? While we discuss the alternatives and explore the option of generating our own energy, we've got Mohamed Madhi from Greenstone Energy joining us now to give us insight on that. Mohamed, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon.
Pleasure, as always.
Talk to me about this. As soon as I found out that I can actually generate my own energy, I thought to myself, my goodness, why were you not here sooner? So, energy generation, how do we do that?
It's actually quite easy, easier than most people understand. And, you know, in this part of the country, we're quite fortunate in that we have a gas pipeline, so it's quite easy to build your own power generating plant. If you don't want to use diesel, diesel is the most expensive. Next, the cheapest alternative right now is to use a combination of solar and gas, or, you know, gas only, depending on the kind of usage that you have. And you can put your own power plant on your home or on your business.
But then wouldn't that be expensive? I mean, a lot of times we've been chatting about this for years now, about going off the grid. But unfortunately, going off the grid costs anywhere between the ranges of about 70 to about 150,000 Rand or so, right? So the financial implication of actually generating your own power, is it not better than just to pay Eskom and then deal with load shedding?
So a couple of things have happened in the last few years that made that whole dynamic change quite a bit. The first one is the cost of renewable energy has dropped more than fivefold in 10 years. Just think about that. $5,000 a kilowatt 2009 to less than $1,000 per kilowatt in 2020. The second thing is, if you look at the recoupment of capital over a period of time, within 3 to 5 years you're able to pay off your plant that you put up at home, and then you're basically only paying for the gas. Your solar plant is paid off, your gas generator is paid off. So the economics definitely make sense to put up your own power plant.
Yeah, I mean, at own power plant, so if we have to look at I mean, we understand the fact that it's decreased by fivefold. If I have to do a summation in terms of how much will it cost me to actually generate my own energy, how much am I looking at?
So the bottom line is, if you have piped gas or access to relatively cheap, tanked gas, then you're looking at tariffs that are lower than the national utility and lower than most municipalities on a per kilowatt basis. So it certainly makes sense on a per kilowatt basis. For businesses, it's even more compelling. The argument is more compelling because they have a high heat usage, a lot of manufacturing businesses, and they're able to then exploit various aspects of a gas generator or any other kind of power plant to make their overall system more efficient.
And the reason why I'm asking this, Mohamed, is because let's say somebody who is in Soweto, and I'm going to use Soweto as an example right now because people in Soweto are currently protesting as a result of the high tariffs and the payment of electricity costs, right? Let's say that somebody's living in Pimville in Soweto, and they decided, you know what, actually, I would like to pursue the option of generating my own electricity. Let's bring it down to the rands of cents to the normal man on the street so that they understand exactly what I'm working with. If I have to get a loan, if I have to budget for it, if I have to save for 5 years for it, so that officially I can have my own power supply that does not cost as much as Eskom and won't go out for 4 hours on end.
So typically you would look at a standard home of the type that you've described. Under 100,000 Rand, you can build your own power generation plant or have your own power generation plant built for you. The other way to look at it, the other way to do the numbers, is take your monthly electricity bill multiplied by approximately 48, and that's going to be the cost of the power plant.
And the power plant then, once I've paid it, and then I pay much less than I would for electricity if I was on Eskom's load. Or if you're deciding to go solar, then you don't necessarily have to worry about it that much.
So solar alone won't give you continuous power. You need either solar and some other form of energy storage or energy generation associated with solar. Battery, unfortunately, is still fairly expensive. Some can afford it. Prices are dropping, but not yet as much as solar, not yet as much as wind. So if you have access to gas, as I said before, and you put in your own gas generating plant, then yes, you will have continuous power cheaper.
And the million-dollar question, where do I start?
You start by calling in an expert. You don't necessarily have to pay for this. There are many companies that will now do an analysis for you up front, tell you exactly what you need, get the expert analysis done. Once that is done, get the numbers, run the numbers, and do a comparison, what it would cost you over the next 5 years to pay for electricity compared to what the plant would cost you. And also, don't forget, factor in the likely increases that are going to occur over the next 5 years if you're from Eskom or the municipality.
Mohamed, we're going to leave it there for now, but thanks a lot for joining us and shedding some light in terms of how is it that we can generate our own electricity. There's an option for you if you're tired of the load shedding that we're currently facing.